Our next speaker is Kerry Jones, and I want to offer some clarification on the back of your agendas as the wrong objective. Kerry's objective is to understand the techniques available to arouse emotions, to become skilled in arousing emotions by telling a story. It's a little in conflict with the agenda. The world is changing. Things happen in our lives over which we have no control. Sometimes if we challenge the ways we learn to look at the world, those things can set us off in a new direction. Kerry is presenting his fourth project in the Advanced Manual on Storytelling, The Touching Story. Please welcome Kerry Jones. Changing Priorities, Kerry Jones.
Hello, Toastmasters. I'm going to tell you a story today that I read on the internet about a gentleman that I'm sure that many of you can relate to. And I call the story Changing Priorities, although had I known phrase for the day, resilience, could have been an equally good title because it is a story of resilience as well. At the age of 45, Shane was on top of the world. He had a good paying job as a mortgage broker in the middle of the booming real estate market. His wife had a good job with a major communications company. They had a 1-year-old son named Van and another baby boy on the way. Life was really good. But then the bubble burst. Shane had a front row seat to the disaster that happened when the U.S. real estate economy collapsed. He lost his job. No one was hiring. He found that finding a job in the housing market at that time was an exercise in frustration and futility. Those few companies that were making it weren't willing to take on any new payroll, and many companies were still laying people off. But on one level, Shane and his wife Raven knew that they were lucky. They had no real debt other than their mortgage. Both their cars were paid off. And for the time being, they knew that they could make their monthly expenses on Raven's paycheck. Plus, they had the benefit that they had health and medical and insurance coverage from Raven's employer. But with a young son and another baby on the way, Shane was really feeling anxiety over losing his job and a major portion of their income. Plus, he had been growing up and taught that a man's job is to support his family. And suddenly, he wasn't contributing anything to the family bank account. He couldn't shake the feeling that he'd been emasculated, that he'd been relegated to the role of a 1950s housewife. His wife was now the major breadwinner, while Shane was the one who got up every morning and got their son Dan ready for his day. He was the one that made sure the house was clean and that the meals were cooked. He ran the household errands and did the grocery shopping. In fact, Shane felt like he'd just fallen out of the Michael Keaton movie, Mr. Mom. But for Shane, things only seemed to get worse. He found himself becoming a suburban housewife. The kind of housewife that's given up on looking like anything other than she is. A hairy, baggy-shirted, middle-aged mom in baggy pants. And he felt the last vestige of his manhood slipping away one day when he noticed that he was the only man pushing a stroller around the neighborhood park. He felt like a loser. He felt like someone with no worth whatsoever. John became extremely depressed, feeling that he would have to look up to see the ninth circle of Dante's hell. He thought he was about to break. But then, at that lowest point, an amazing transformation started to take place. Shane began to realize that he was actually starting to enjoy his new life. The time he had to spend with his son Van was a real joy. And he had an epiphany. Suddenly he realized that he knew that Van's favorite TV show was Yo Gabba Gabba. And his favorite color was red. And then he liked bananas. And then he thought cats were really funny. These were tidbits of information that Shane didn't know before he lost his job. He now began to realize that the security he had over being less of a man was in fact the opposite. Again, it's to understand the importance of being a stay-at-home parent, the importance of the difficulty of that job. Before he lost his job, he thought that being a father just meant bringing home a good paycheck. But now he realized how wrong that thinking was. Being a good father is being there every day for your son, handling all those mundane things that help him grow. He knew that instead of telling his son how to be a man, Shane had the opportunity to show him how to be a man. And then began following his dad around the house like a shadow. If Shane was working on household repairs, there was little Ben with his little toy toolbox wanting to help. When Shane went out in the yard to do yard work, Ben would follow him out there and want to help out. If Shane was on the computer, Ben wanted to be on the computer too. In fact, Shane discovered that his son Dan had the ability to make him laugh every day. While he'd been working, all the household chores had fallen on his wife, Reagan. Shane had been raised to think that a man's job was to go out and make a living, and that housekeeping was the province of women. Suddenly, he was thrust into the 21st century. He thought, how could I have been so blind and take my life for granted that way? He developed a greater sense of appreciation for all the things that Reagan did, and vowed to see that from now on he was going to be more of a partner and a helper than someone who just was a taker. And he was amazed to notice that Reagan had become a much happier person too, despite his unemployed status. Shane was becoming the man that his wife and son needed. The couple began to see a few other benefits of his unemployment as well. They were saving over $1,000 a month in child care. But more importantly, their son was not being raised by a stranger. Shane now refuses to judge his life based on what he does for a living or the amount of money he makes. He now chooses to judge his life on the boys that he changes into men and gives to the world. As for a job situation, Shane has decided that he's no longer going to search for a job that maybe no longer exists, nor is he going to search for one that doesn't arouse real passion. As Shane said, it might lead to somewhere wonderful or a dead end, but I don't care. I'm not afraid to fail anymore.